Welcome back to the channel. We're here today and we're back talking on Wrexham Football Club as always, and today we're here talking about two very big topics. As you can tell by the title, we're going to be having a look at some sponsorship news regarding the club. We're going to be looking at the future of what could happen to the naming rights of the racecourse ground and other general sponsors on the shirts and involved in the club. And of course, it wouldn't be a video in the summer if we weren't to be talking about transfer news. We're going to be looking at possible incoming into the club that's been linked, and we are also going to be looking at Phil Parkinson's stance on a player that's been rumoured to leave the club in the summer transfer window. So before we get going in today's video, I feel like I haven't worn a Wrexham shirt in a video for a long time. Today we're back with this 2013-14 away shirt. Not great memories of it. Of course, the fans back then pre-takeover will remember how depressing this season was. I think we finished around 17th, 18th. Andy Morrell was the manager. He got sacked. Kevin Wilkin came in, and all I remember from that season was losing to Chester in the cross-border derby and the pitch just being absolutely terrible around sort of the December to February time. So not great memories of this shirt. Obviously I love it, the embroidered badge. Enough of the waffle. If you are looking for Wrexham AFC content on YouTube, and if you're looking for up-to-date news regarding the club all across the summer, this is the place to be. Make sure to get down there and click the red subscribe button if you're looking for that. We're on the road to 29,000 subscribers. Let's as well try and hit 350 likes on today's video, and without further ado, let's get looking at a possible incoming. So outlets up in Scotland have reported that Wrexham are one of two championship clubs, it's us and Middlesbrough, that are in the race to sign 19-year-old Scottish winger Finlay Curtis, who has had a really successful season up in Scotland for Glasgow Rangers in the first half and Kilmarnock in the second half, who did join in the second half of the SPFL season in the top tier of Scottish football, where I would like to say for Glasgow Rangers in the first half of the season, although he was mostly utilised as a substitute and a player that would come off the bench to make an impact in the last 20 minutes, I would like to think in both spells for both clubs last season, he had a really good impact. Now, if we are looking at Curtis as a player, now he plays primarily on the wing, so if we are looking at Phil Parkinson's system that he does operate, we obviously know it by now. We've seen it, it's the 3-5-2 formation, so you are looking at Curtis, he probably would be utilised in that wing-back role. Now, as a 19-year-old, it would be a big ask, especially from Scottish football, where he was playing for obviously Rangers, who are competing at the top end of the table, and then Kilmarnock, who did finish in the lower half. I do think it would be a big ask for him to adapt and evolve into that wing-back spot in such a competitive league. But one thing we have seen from Curtis over his time in the 25-26 campaign is that he's just good going forward. He is so effective going forward. The youngster registered 11 goals and assists in 35 games, with only 15 of those 35 being starts across the two spells last season. Something really impressive to note about Curtis is, of course, he's a 19-year-old. He's had a good second half of the season, and I think that second half of the season was absolutely vital for him, as he did secure a place in the 26-man World Cup squad for Steve Clarke's Scotland, which is a huge achievement. Of course, obviously him playing up in Scotland in the SPFL. You look at the sort of broader range of the squad that Scotland have brought up, and it is very rare these days that you do see a player that's playing in the country and in that league get called up for their team. Obviously the smaller nations like Scotland, like Wales, like Republic of Ireland, so a big well done to Curtis for that. Obviously he's impressed over in Scotland and it's caught the eye of Steve Clarke. Something else as well that's good to note is the fact that Curtis will be playing alongside and will be in the squad travelling out to Mexico, to Canada, to USA alongside Wrexham skipper Dom Hyam, so hopefully he can put a good word in his ear and tempt him down to North Wales. But on the whole, for Curtis, it's a great opportunity for him to further show his talent on the biggest stage of world football. And if you are looking further at Curtis as a player, now I think he's definitely a player that suits the saying of he's come in leaps and bounds over the past couple of months or so, and obviously his consistency at 19 years old is something that has really stood out to Kilmarnock fans, and just the impact that he did have on the team to guide them to safety in the second half of the season. And I think that's something most players his age do struggle with, especially with this being his first full season in men's professional football. And you look at players that age, they tend to have really good purple patches for maybe 2 or 3 games, have bursts of good performances throughout the season, but I think Curtis has just remained consistent all throughout it. As well, his style of play, his attacking mindset is something that has caught the eye of Kilmarnock fans, and of course when he does return to Rangers in the summer, they want to keep him because going forward, he's been really good. He's been really effective. His runs with and without the ball in the final third are said to be some of his main attributes to his game. And I think there is the case for a lot of young players, not only just up in the SPFL, but I would say in world football, that there is still room to develop and there is still room to improve as a player. He's still developing as a person. He's 19 years old. He's going to get stronger. And I think he'll be one of those players that just gradually gets better. Not gradually, but will get a lot better in a short period of time if he picks the right move in the summer, because as we know, he's got options laid out on the table to him from teams in the Championship. Rangers want to keep hold of him and offer him a new contract extension, so it is going to be interesting what route he does go down. I think either way, next season he will be playing regular football for whatever team that is, because 19 years old, he's one of the brightest talents in Scottish football, and Wrexham are firmly in the race to get a signature. If you are looking in previous times, and I think most specifically in this transfer window, the rumours, there are a few that you like the look of, there are a few that you think he's too old or he's going to be on such a big wage that you don't really want him in the squad. But I think for Curtis, he's 100% a player that I would keep on Phil Parkinson's radar, especially with the World Cup coming up. It's a great opportunity for him to showcase his talent, and if he doesn't decide to pursue a career and a long-term career with Rangers, he'll be available on a free transfer, and I think Wrexham should be right in the mix to go and sign him. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Of course, wing-back is a position that I think we do need to bring in. Curtis does play on right wing, so I think it does add up to him sort of adapting and playing in the right wing back spot, but he's a player that will just develop and get better over time. So talking next on the sponsorship front of things, now I saw a post on Twitter the other day and it really did catch my eye, and it's to do with the sponsorships, and I think there is a potential next season for Wrexham to be in for a big change on the sponsorship front. Now on the club website, they obviously have the footer and the header where they do publicise all of the sponsorships and the partners at the club, and some names that were at the forefront of the club over the past couple of seasons have been completely removed, and this is likely down to the contracts expiring for them and us looking to bring more sponsorships into the club and overall just increase the value as we go into another Championship season. Some of the names that have been removed from the website: Aviation Gin, M&S Food, Gatorade, MetaQuest, HP, and most importantly, Stoke Cold Brew, who were the stadium sponsors of the world famous Racecourse Ground, the oldest international stadium in the world. Stoke Cold Brew have been sponsoring for the past 3 seasons. That contract is up, and who knows what could happen next for the Racecourse Ground. Will they look to keep it as how it was for the past 160 odd years, just as the Racecourse Ground, or they look to get a new name in to get a pretty penny from that sponsor? I think to put it into perspective how well Wrexham do for these people coming into sponsoring the club, and especially the companies that do have their names, whether it's on the shirt, whether it's on the stadium, the training kits. If you are looking at Stoke Cold Brew, of course, like I said, they came in July 2023. They bought the naming rights to the stadium. They had their name at the top of the tech end. They were at the forefront, like I said, of the Racecourse Ground. When you were buying tickets, it was the Stoke Cold Brew Racecourse Ground. And the company of Stoke Cold Brew reported in an open article that they reported $5 million in sales in the first 3 months since they did sponsor the Racecourse Ground, meaning that I think Wrexham should be holding our price of sponsorships at the club so much higher from what we do currently already have. Now, Football Finance observers claimed that the deal was worth low 7 figures per year. With the COP coming along soon and the wider exposure that Wrexham have got as we've gone up from League 2, up from League 1 and now into the Championship, you'd hope we'd bank a little bit more this time around if we do have some sponsors lined up in place to take the naming rights at the Racecourse Ground. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you think that Wrexham should pursue another sponsor for the stadium? Do you think it's worth it for an extra few million quid over the course of the season? Or do you think it should just be the classy, the Racecourse Ground, as we've seen it for so many years previous to the first sponsorship ever, which was Stoke Cold Brew? So like I said, your thoughts are always welcome in the comment section down below. And going back to transfer news and finishing off the video with Josh Windass. Now, as expected, there was a lot of news on social media. There was a lot of people talking on the situation of Josh Windass after we did see rumours of him possibly going back to Glasgow Rangers up in Scotland. But Phil Parkinson has come out and done an interview with the Leader Live to shut out rumours of last season's top scorer going anywhere and returning back to Rangers, or even just leaving the club in the summer transfer window. This obviously comes after Ben Jacobs, the journalist, reported that there was interest internally amongst the Rangers camp to bring him back into the club for the upcoming season. If we are looking at what manager Phil Parkinson had to say on the situation, he said, "Josh is our player, he had a good season and we're looking forward to him building on that next year. We're looking to add to the quality we've got, not lose it. I think we would be disappointed if there wasn't some interest in our players. It's inevitable, but we've got the players we want on long-term contracts and we're in a good position on that front." So Phil Parkinson is basically saying the club is going to do all they can to retain the key players in the upcoming transfer window. And I think the key thing to take from that is the fact that he stated that they're on long-term contracts, mostly pointing at Josh Windass and I think Callum Doyle indirectly, because there is a lot of noise regarding his future with Man City having that buyback clause and having a potential sell-on clause. But I think Phil Parkinson is saying, if you want one of our players, you have to come in and show us a better offer that we can't match, especially from a higher up side. If Wrexham are going to sell this transfer window, and if we're going to lose one of our key players, it won't be to a Championship side, it'll be to a Premier League side who are going to match the ambition of the player, and it's going to be an offer that Wrexham physically cannot say no to, because you have to look at things. If Callum Doyle wants to progress to the top of his game, he is obviously still relatively young, then he's going to do that in the Premier League. I think if clubs are to come in for him, Wrexham should hold the price no lower. I'm not even going to be unrealistic and say no lower than £20 million, if not even higher, because I do think if he's in the right environment like he is at Wrexham, he will just go from strength to strength and will become a world-class defender. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below as well. Do you think Wrexham are going to lose any of our key players in the upcoming transfer window, or do you think we're just going to strengthen even further and boost our chances of getting to the Premier League? So that is it for today's video. If you did enjoy, make sure to drop a like, make sure to subscribe as well. I do really enjoy bringing these videos to you at home, of course. They're shorter than the usual ones, but I tend to bring every little bit of information I can out to you on the channel in case you're not on social media, you're not on Twitter, you're not on Facebook. This is your hub. It's easily accessible as well, like I said. So if you did enjoy, make sure to support the channel. You're not obliged to subscribe, but it's free to do so. And of course, if you want the benefit of getting up to date with news, then this is your place to be. Enough of the waffle, enough of the self-promotion. I'll see you in another video. Take care, guys. Up the Championship Reds.